Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Build. So last time we worked on this market over here. As you can tell, it's really nice. I like it. I like the checkered design on the roofs. I really think it looks medieval. So this is a schoolyard. This is a lot of this we basically I did on my own. So you probably didn't see it in videos, but a lot of it you also did see. About 5 builds, I think. But enough with my little rambling at the beginning. Today we're gonna be working on this little area here. So this place is a perfect spot to put a house and maybe a shop. I was thinking like a high-class manor, since it's like inner city in the rich district. So as you can see to the left there's like a lowered plot of land. We're gonna put a manor on there, and on the higher plot there we're gonna do some terraforming on it, and we're gonna put, I think, an alchemist shop. I think that would be appropriate for a city. We haven't got any alchemist shops except for the market, but that's just a small time. This is like real, professional potions, really good quality, high class, since it's obviously in the rich district. But anyway, enough nonsensical rambling. Let me get into the build. So we started off by terraforming the area here a bit. It kind of was starting to encroach on the area that the church was in, but we're not going to worry about that too much. The church will be sort of buried in land, but it's fine. Obviously we needed a clean canvas to start building houses and shops on. So I just went over with a bunch of grass blocks and filled that area in quickly and got rid of any unwanted grass or fences. And then I started on the frame of the house. So I did the frame of the house and the shop first, but we're gonna work on building the house before we do the shop, as you can see here. So I was just using my standard design for basically every build I've done here, or every build that would be able to work with that design. And it was the first design I ever used for a house on this series. So as you can see here, we're building a slightly smaller area for an alchemist shop. And I didn't bother filling in all of the areas. I kind of like the effect where it's the house or shop is sort of being held up by a brace or whatever you wanted to call that little, I don't know what the word is, but yeah, I kind of like how it's sort of staggered along the hill and being held up by a wooden brace. So I filled in the walls, but we're gonna work on decorating this area later. I didn't go with the same color walls and oak wood and everything in the end. I just went all dark wood. So now we're finally starting on the manor. So I started off building the basic frame, as I said. Filled in the bottom with some oak wood, and I decided to go 2 stories on this since it was sort of low looking for a manor. This design I did here is not necessarily the one I decided on in the end. You'll see in a second. I actually chose to have the top layer out a bit. I don't know how well to describe it, but you'll see in a second. I started having to build another frame above there, and I ran into a bit of a problem. I noticed that it was sort of going into the roof of the church, so what I ended up having to do was painstakingly moving the entire walls forward a lot. It still ended up cutting a bit into the roof, but the way it ended up turning out in the end, I think I liked a lot better than having some sort of supportive beam on the roof and just having it ugly cut into the wall. So there you see me going over the the basic frame that I set for myself earlier with the same wood, expanding it out like I was already doing. Finally, I got the entire walls moved forward. That was just annoying to have to do. Basically, because I didn't have World Edit, I wasn't able to just copy and paste like I normally would have. So always have World Edit if you're gonna make mistakes. So once I finished the framework properly, I started on the upper floor walls. I decided to use darker wood for the walls than I did on the first level because it would have looked nice if I had the same color wood, but I think it looked nicer by adding a sort of two-tiered look to it. Also for the roof, I ended up using oak wood, so it adds a bit of definition in the second floor, I think. So it's hard to tell right now, but that roof actually ended up cutting into the cathedral, so just a bit though. It's nothing major. It's really hard to notice if you don't look at it like right up close. So I just left it the way it is. As much as I would like to have everything nice and perfect, if I moved it any more forward, it would end up just cutting into the roads in front of it, and it would just look horrible. So here's a nice little upper pan of the roof as I'm building it. Roofs are really hard things to do, but apparently World Edit doesn't like to work very well with making roofs, so that's another thing why I don't have World Edit installed yet. So as you can see there, I made a little stairwell for us to go. I ended up leaving the roof, or the ceiling should I say, uncovered. So when you're up in the top part, it's sort of like an attic slash upper floor, and it ended up being the bedrooms, or the bedroom, and you can see right into the roof, which looks really nice and rustic. So what I ended up having to do with the doorway there is, since I moved the walls forward a bit, like I said, I had to make the entrance in a bit inside, so I couldn't go with my standard design of having like the little entranceway awning thing. So now I started to make little makeshift small bookshelves and a little sofa using new item frames, and a little table. And I added a creeper head. I don't know why. That would probably freak everyone out, but it's fine. So I have to keep adding torches as I'm going because it's just way too dark to see. Anyway, I started adding bed, and I wasn't sure how to go about adding a bed, but I ended up using light wood just to make it seem more like a fancy bed. And I put the little covering over the bed to make it look like a princess's bed or royalty bed. I don't know. It was also like, I don't even know what 3-bed size would be, like king size? I don't know. I also added some night lights there, just in case you don't want to get eaten by zombies while you're sleeping. I also added an ender chest, because, of course, with you can't have a 3-wide chest, so I ended up having to compromise and put like a chest, 2 chests on either side of an ender chest. I also added some hunting heads, just because obviously a rich person would be really into hunting. So now we started on the Alchemist Shop. It's just a really small shop, but it'll work for a small-time business, I guess. Obviously, none of these businesses are going to be giant shops unless they're like super high class. I don't know. I also wanted to do something kind of different with the windows, since I had like a different style roof, as not to cut into the cathedral any more than the house already did. So I added a bunch of stairs in a certain pattern, and I added some flowers in the front there, and some flower pots, and a head, because it's an alchemist shop, so whatever alchemist I'm sure would have some heads or bones or something to mix into their potions. I wouldn't know, I didn't live in medieval times. So here's a little insight. You'll see me killing lots of villagers, testificate villagers, along the way because they do not like to comply with staying in areas. They like to sort of gravitate towards the doors. Once I finally got the mage style testificate that I was happy with, I ended up having to kill them because they were sort of jumping out and, as I said, going towards the doors, as you'll see in a sec. I also added some heads and some mushrooms and some things on display. I had some potions in the item frames there, and some alchemy ingredients and things, and a brewing stand. I ended up having to get rid of the crafting benches and the brewing stands over there because the villagers just would not stop jumping out. So that's the build. I really like the final product that came out of it. Even though, like I said earlier, with the space we had, the manor sort of had to go into the roof of the cathedral bit and get into the church's personal space, but it's fine. It'll look fine in the end, I guess. That's the Alchemist shop right there. It turned out well too. It's really unique in the middle of the city where like all the businesses and the houses looked sort of similar in design. This one stood out a lot. And here's a better view of the house. I kind of had space troubles with it because I didn't realize how big it would actually be. But yeah, turned out well in the end. I really liked it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, and you want to see more, then please, by all means, subscribe. And if you have any ideas for future builds, then please leave a comment or PM me. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.